Welcome back to another episode of Crystal Lake Fishing. We are starting the day a little bit late. I'm filming the intro late too. It's kind of a mess. We changed plans like 4 times, but on my way to Clearwater to launch so we can go and dive. We got Evan, we got Tommy. I will see you guys out at the ramp. Welcome back underwater, everybody. Sorry about the upload schedule. It's been kind of hectic up at college. As I do more years, it gets more work, etc. But I'm trying to keep the uploads to once every week or two, and I've been on track with that promise at least. So today we're out with Evan and Tommy, kind of just doing a meat trip, trying to get a bunch of mangoes, a bunch of hogfish, etc. This first spot was just littered with mangoes, just everywhere. This was the very first dive of the day, doing kind of a viz check. The viz looks a little bit better on camera than it was like actually live, but still good. You can see we've got some pipes, we've got a barge right in front of me, like the old crushed remains of one, hanging out on the bottom, waiting for a nicer mango to come in, taking that shot. They say getting a fish on your first dive or your first cast is bad luck, and there's a couple other videos on this channel that prove that wrong, but today also does. But we were glad to have good viz.
Is it shootable? Yes. Am I excited about how shootable it is? No.
Yeah, so you can kind of tell I was talking about the viz right there. It's not as good as it looks on camera. But what is nice is that it was a super flat, calm day. So we end up going out to deeper water once we fill the boat up with a bunch of meat. On the way down here, you can see all that bait right there. And honestly, we are kind of spoiled with viz the way it was this summer. We had a lot of really good viz, and this is when it started to get bad. But see this nice hogfish, plug him, he just races into that pipe. I know he's kind of in there, and he's safe in there, nothing's going to eat him, so I head up to the surface and come back to get him on a different dive. That other hogfish that was just headed towards me was also legal, but this one was obviously much bigger. Alright, so I'm headed down my shooting line. There's a little bit of current. You can kind of tell by the direction of the line how it's kind of like dragged diagonal as opposed to straight up and down over the pipe, which makes it kind of annoying to do recovery dives because you're having to use up oxygen and stamina on the surface by just to stay above the spot that you're trying to dive onto. You got that red grouper checking out the hogfish in there. I used my light. I ended up not needing it. I just grabbed the shaft and pull him out. Wasn't that complicated of an extraction job. But got a nice hogfish to add to that mango. There's Tommy on his way down.
Evan. It's not bad.
Got us a nice little hogfish. Throw it in the bilge. I normally don't do that because the spines from the fish will mess up the wires going to the engine. I've had it on my list of projects to do is to cover up all those wires, but I've just never gotten around to it. But with hogfish, they have less spines, so I feel like fine doing it. I wouldn't do that with a mango. Probably wouldn't do it with a grouper either, unless it was like freaking out and I just needed to get it into the boat. It was gonna tear out. Little stingray right there. This dive is, I'm just hunting. Like, I'm just kind of sitting there, diving off the reef. I've been saying this since the beginning of the channel. Land in the sand and crawl over to the reef. That way, you're not landing all up in the fish's business, and you can kind of arrive to the reef already hiding and undercover as opposed to dropping down as a big object. Then I sit at the edge of the barge, the reef, start grunting, waiting for fish to come out, come to me, and I'm just creeping along, not moving fast at all, just waiting for a fish to come out and say hi, and I shoot that mango right as he's heading back into the structure. I don't know why my camera's making that weird sound. It was making it that whole dive, but it doesn't do it for the rest of the video. Some nice fish. It's super cool to get good fish on like a super flat, calm day like that. Throw them in the boat. Alright, reloading, and we're gonna do a couple dives with the timer on, if you want to hold your breath. This dive is a tragedy. I'm stalking this like giant mango. It's not like, you know, 9 pounds, but it's big. It's like probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 pound mango. It's a really nice one. And you'll see him when I get down here, again, kind of landing in that same patch that I was just hunting before. Edge of the reef, right on the patch, pipes right there. I crawl over to the barge, but this time instead of staying on the outside of the barge, I look over and in towards the center of the barge where most of them are hanging out, and I'm just kind of hiding behind the barge like I'm a sniper, like I'm like in an actual combat situation. And you see that big one in the back over there, and I'm just like staring him down, trying to get him to give me a shot, grunting a little bit, waiting. You can see they're spooking a little bit. That's because either Evan or Tommy, I can't remember who, dove down right there, and it spooked him. And oh, it was Tommy. There he is. I'm looking. This isn't the giant, but I pulled the trigger on one and just doesn't work out. It's because I rushed the end of that dive. I spent so much time working on them, and then they got spooked, and I got impatient after they got spooked because I knew I didn't have the breath hold to work them back again. Alright. Another dive. Just running down. These spots are not that deep. They're in like 50 foot. So I'm able to kind of hunt them the way that I want to. Sometimes when I'm out at the deeper stuff, it's more of a drop down to the bottom and hang out wherever you land kind of situation, because the amount of energy it takes to move horizontally to where the best hiding spot would be is too much. Because like I'll move like this, what I'm doing right now, this horizontal movement through the current, only possible because of how shallow it is. If I'm diving deep and I try this, I won't make it back up. See a fish there, boom, plug in. But yeah, when I'm diving deep, I get down, and if a spot that I want to hide in is not within 15 feet of me, then I just hang out where I am and start trying to call fish to me. Otherwise, I won't have enough of a breath hold to justify being down there. Look at that, just super flat, calm day. Throwing the mango in the bilge, like I said not to do. Alright, so we changed spots. Now we're out deep. Broke out the Marauder. Tommy kills a mango like immediately.
Hold it up again. Huh? Hold it up again. You want me to cut it or no? Do whatever you want, yeah. Awesome.
And so I'm going to show you guys what I'm talking about here with terms of the not moving horizontally too much. On my way down, I think this spot's like 80 feet. On the way down, it's a big wreck under me. It's like a huge barge with like a big tower thing. And ideally, you land like right next to the tower and hang out behind it, hang out around it, see what's coming in, because the tower is going to bring in permit. It's going to bring in, cobia. The stuff around the tower is going to have grouper. There's going to be mangoes everywhere, etc. This dive, I'm off the tower considerably. Like, you can't even really see it. So instead of swimming all the way up the wreck to where I know the tower is, which is on my left over there, I just kind of drop to where I'm going to be and survey what's around. Right. So I'm here, and I end up not going towards the tower, but there's another tall part of the wreck right here. And I look in and around this other tall part. And I end up seeing this hogfish right here. Plugging him. But if I was to go and turn around and move the other direction, I would be moving into the current, trying to fight it to get to that tower, and I wouldn't have been able to stay down at all. But I just kind of let the current take me down the wreck towards another part of the structure, and was able to get a fish by doing that, even though I didn't land where I wanted to. Got a nice little hogfish. The other one was bigger. We found him much shallower, but he was bigger. Alright, so this dive, kind of a similar situation. It's very hard to land exactly on that tower, but the tower is significantly taller than everything else. It's like, I don't know, it's like 25, 30 feet. Yeah, 25 feet off the bottom. But on my way down here, and you can see, is that the tower on my right? Yes. It was on my right, but I land kind of down current of it, so I just let the current take me. I'm just drifting along the wreck. I go right back over to that same structure I was on before, and I see this giant mango. Take kind of a long shot on him, but I snipe him. Spine him and everything. But that was almost an identical dive to the last one that I took, except instead of turning around for the fish, I followed him along the side of that structure. Tons of bait on this wreck. There always is a ton of bait, but this day there was a bunch of small bait, which made it actually diveable. Sometimes it's so covered that you can't even see anything. That's a nice size mango. That's the ideal size. Like, that's what you want. It's harder to find ones that big shallow though. In like the hottest parts of the summer, they'll come up shallow. They'll be in like 30 feet. But most of the time, if you want mangoes that big, you're going to be diving on wrecks and stuff pretty deep and shooting them in the column as opposed to on the structure like this. Alright, so this dive is kind of interesting. I actually see a black grouper. This is the same spot that I shot that little black grouper before, but this spot, or this dive, the black grouper that I see is much bigger than the other one. So you'll kind of see him right here below me as he's going into the wreck. And what's interesting is I actually don't notice him here, but if you're looking carefully at there's the tower, by the way. If you're looking carefully at the flat part, you can see him hanging out in the current, turning, just kind of chilling and stuff. And I barely noticed him towards the end of the dive, as like right when I came up. And once I noticed him, I kind of was like, alright, I gotta go back down and try to target this thing. And on my next dive, I get a much better, clearer look, and I almost have a shot at him. So I'm heading down now. I have a pretty decent idea of where he's hanging out. Again, he doesn't go into the wreck on that dive. He literally just like was hanging out on top of the slab. I just didn't have the breath hold to try to go down and shoot him on that dive because I wasn't expecting to go all the way to bottom. I was going to go shoot another mango. So on my way down here, I've got my flashlight in my hand because I'm kind of anticipating that once I shoot to bottom, he's going to spook into the wreck. This time I am fighting. There he is right there. I'm fighting the current, going up current. So that's affecting my breath hold. He kind of drifts into the wreck, and you can see him right there. Very clearly a black grouper. I kind of freak out a little bit. I'm looking in the wreck, and I end up just not being able to find him. I do a few more dives on this exact ledge looking for him, but the problem is even though on a couple of them I like had a shot, I was never gonna recover that fish. I would have shot my like $100 shaft back there and never gotten the shaft back and killed the fish for no reason. That is the end of the underwater content for you all. We do run into a floater on the way back, so stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next episode.
Check out the triple tail on that. That's a nice triple tail. Bunch of bait on it. There's a crab on it.
Oh no, my phone froze.
Look at that triple tail. He's coming right there. There he is.
Look at all the bait.
Yeah, dude. Offshore structure. I got video of it. There he is. That's fine. Yo, we got one. Tommy got a mahi. Evan, show me. Yes, sir. You got your first mahi off the thing. Good job. Are there a bunch?
There's like 30 of them.
Just throw it in the boat. Shoot another one. A little taco mahi. Oh, that is a messed up piece of PVC. Ice cream? Ice cream? You got ice cream? Ice cream! Ah! Take yours back. All right, Evan, what we got today?
Some mangoes, some hogs, and a little
mahi. Little
mihi mihi.
Oh, where's he at?
Oh shit, there, dude.
The big hog?
Oh shit, right
The mahi.
It's a stud.
Oh yeah, that's a stud. All those mangoes are like 30 inches, so that mahi's still tiny, even if they were 30 inches. All right, dope. All right, we're in. Evan got his popsicles. He's changing right there. There's his underwear. We're getting all the fish divvied up and everything, and we're just gonna come back out here tomorrow. Why not? You know what I mean? It'll be me, Tommy, and Matt, and I will see you guys in the next episode.